Just the we're on live. You can.
Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you joining us today for this exciting and insightful webinar titled From Panic to Poise Stress Free Strategies for English. I'm Sai Shraddha and I'll be your host for this session. We are thrilled to have such an enthusiastic and diverse audience here today, ready to unlock new ways to confidently and easily approach English language board examination. Now, let us introduce the star of today's session, our esteemed speaker, Mr. Anand Babu, English language faculty at Rockets International School. Mr. Anand Babu is a graduate of the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, one of the most prestigious institutions in the country. With a strong passion for education, he has achieved the remarkable feat of clearing the net in education. But that's not all. He is a dedicated language enthusiast with a deep appreciation for the intricacies and nuances of English language. His commitment to lifelong learning and teaching has inspired countless teachers, and we are fortunate to have him share his wisdom with us here today. In today's session, Mr. Anand Babu will guide us through stress free strategies for mastering English for students appearing for board exams. This session is packed with practical tips and insights just for you. You will discover how a calm and confident approach can transform your learning experience and boost your performance. So, get ready to move from panic to poise. Before we dive into this session, let's cover a few housekeeping points. Please ensure your microphones are muted during the presentation to avoid any interruptions. If you have any questions during the session, feel free to type it into the chat box. We will address them during the Q&A segment at the end. Make sure you stay until the end to make most of this enriching session. Now, without further ado, let us welcome our speaker, the inspiring and insightful Mr. Anand Babu. Anand sir, we are eager to hear from you. Over to you.
I think, am I audible? Shraddha, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Um, s- Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Shraddha, for your introduction. I'm Anand Babu. I'm very glad to be here for this session. Actually, I just want to make it as a talk rather than as a discussion rather than a talk. Uh, our topic is stress-free strategies to master exam. Let's say in a board exam. But I would say I just wanna clear a correction here. I just wanna mention something here. Stress, not every time it's a bad thing. Okay, constructive stress, it is good in so many ways. We'll talk about it. And let me start off with a question, a really good question, which we have to think about. First thing is, uh, basically, when it is exam, most of the students, they made it as a phantom. They made it as a giant thing which they cannot crack it up. But I feel like exam is just like a very delicious recipe which includes so many ingredients, our hard work, our creativity, our understanding, and our presentation and everything. uh, by including all these things, we come out with a very delicious recipe. First thing is that. And the second question that I want to ask is very clear. Please answer this. Anyone can answer this. Um, you are very thirsty, let's say, and you want to drink it up some water, and you ask me some water. I gave you a glass of water. The water is very clean and it's good, but the glass is not at all good. Will you drink it up? The glass is very dirty, muddy, and all. Will you drink it up if I give you that water, that kind of water? No, right? And let's see a second instance. This time, I gave you water with the same glass which is washed. The glass is very neat, right? But the water is not at all good. It has so many impurities. Will you drink it up? In this case as well, you don't drink it up. Here we have to think about two things. First thing is the content. Water is the content, and the second thing is how we are presenting it, the glass, which is nothing but how we are presenting it, a presentation. In any exam, I strongly believe two things are very, very important. First thing is content, what we write, and the second thing is um, how we write. They should go hand in hand. I just want to share a PPT with you. Is it, are you able to see what I'm sharing? Can someone please tell me?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen, sir.
You can see from panic to poise, right? Shraddha, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's
Yes,
good.
sir.
Thank you. So both the things are important. What actually matters in the exam, the content, what we write, uh, and the presentation, how we write. As of now, I just want to divide it into few parts. Let's talk about content first. Content is basically familiarize ourselves with the exam structure, question types, and scoring system, and the syllabus. It would be a great help in our exam. And here the content, the part. When it comes to studying in English, I would say English is a very subject as a subject and as a language. It's really beautiful thing to savor it, cherish it, enjoy it. I would say it is not like all other things. It looks like if you really put your heart into that, you feel like as if you are traveling in a beautiful garden. You feel like you are watching a movie as a part of the character. You feel like a character in that thing. So sometimes sometimes it we feel like not understanding the things. Let's discuss how to tackle it. First thing is, when we are studying for the exam, particularly for the exam, uh, the thing that we have to do is, it would be better if we approach with a good strategy. I just want to talk about four things here, four domains here. First thing is study pattern, how we are approaching the language. Different subjects, they do have different strategies. One strategy may not work for all other subject, so we have to prioritize, we have to plan accordingly. When it comes to English exam, this first technique, or maybe all these four techniques, they may help throughout all the subjects. First is study pattern. When it is exam, what most students do is, they just open the books, they keep on reading, they go on and on and on. But what I would suggest is, it would be better if we if we write a syllabus, what we are going to read. If you have this much of time, this a few minutes or few hours, this much time, it would be better if we break down our content, whatever we have to read, whatever we have to prepare. It would be better to break it up. And after breaking it up, uh, it would be better to skim through the content. Skimming is totally different from scanning, and scanning is totally different from reading, and reading is totally different from studying. Most of the students that I observe, they do read, but they don't study. That is where they are lacking. That is where they are they're feeling like, sir, we are reading a lot, but we are not able to present it in the exam. I will deal it here. It would be better if we skim through it. When you get a text in front of you, a material, or whatever it is, MTG or whatever you take it up, it would be better just to skim through whatever you're reading, be it a chapter, be it a poem, be it a character sketch, be it a letter. Just go through it. When you go through it for the first time, you will notice some words are strange to you, right? When the words are strange to you, it would be better to familiarize yourself with those words, because the next step, reading, it would help a lot. This thing, once you skim through it, you what you are doing here is you are familiarizing yourself with the text, right? And once you second time when you read it, without any hurdle, without any difficulty, you can happily understand it. Once you understand it, now it would be better uh, to write it up, right? Here there are three things when it comes to study pattern: skimming, reading, and writing. I would say most of the students, what they do is they just keep reading, and they feel like, okay, I have read this much, I can do well in my exam. Most of the students, they think in this way, but when they go to examination hall, they forget the thing. I just want to give you one analogy here. Reading is just like holding water with your palms like this. What happens is the water just runs off from your palm. The water just goes off from your palm. Writing is just like, holding water in a glass. You can, keep it long time. Once you write it, once you make it as your habit, what happens is, we don't often appreciate the power of our subconscious mind. Once we are too used to writing, right? Once it became our habit, when you go to the exam, maybe you think, when you go to the exam, maybe I forgot the content, what should I do? But it's not the case. Once you go there, since you practiced it a lot, your mind will be, your subconscious mind, it will be recommending the content that you have to write. That's a really beautiful thing that the brain does. Believe me, it is proven scientifically as well. So writing while you are reading, it helps. Once you understand the piece of content, it would be better to write it. Writing gives it as a reading a shape, a form. It concretize the content which you have read. It consolidate your understanding. That is one thing. And the second thing is, when we are reading each chapter, it would be better to visualize whatever we read. I'll give one example. There is a chapter in 10th uh, supplementary, that is footprints without the feet. It is the prose, I guess. And the second thing is uh, the supplementary, Boli. The chapter name is Boli. Instead of uh, instead of looking it as a chapter to write the exam, it would be better if you feel it. Okay, what Boli is doing, as if you are one of her friend, you are sitting in front of her uh, class, you are observing her, you are observing when the things are going around. It would be better, it gives an edge to you when you go to the exam. When the competency based questions they ask, you can easily answer it, because you felt it, as you are witnessing, you are imagining yourself, you are living in their characters. That is first hand experience. Instead of understanding the chapter, instead of understanding something in a very passive way, you are taking active turn, and you are, making connections, right? You are observing the characters, you are getting first hand experience. When you go to the exam with this kind of imagination, what you do is, you are not merely copying and pasting, you are analyzing your thing, and you are writing out of your experience, which adds a very beautiful edge to your answers. That would be a really good strategy for some boring chapters. It is like, what I would say is, when it comes to English, either prose, supplementary, or poems, it is just a poem. I feel as if it is a beautiful song, a private song that we listen to. We are used to so many, we listen so many English songs, right? Poem is just like that. And don't you think Boli is a lady oriented short film? We are too used to these short films, right? And don't you think the some chapters like the great mighty think tanks chapter is there, the book that's there. Don't you think? And the proposal is also there. Don't you think these two chapters are just like the? I mean, I'm talking in your terms because students are very used to watch these kind of plays and all in the earlier years. Don't you think these things they're just like some melodramas from Korea? And don't you think Footprints Without Feet is just like the recently released movie Pushpa? He has a he has power, but he's not using it for the right things, right? When you think like this, when you visualize, you you don't write your answers there. You write your experiences. That is what your the purpose of the exam, it gets fulfilled. That is where you can boost up your competency. You are no more, you're not that rote learning person from that very traditional way of classroom setting. You are going there memorizing by hearting and you're just copying it. You don't do that. You start analyzing it. You add your opinions to the answers. You add your own experience, since you visualize it, since you are witnessing whatever is happening in the chapter, and it would create a very beautiful piece of art, piece of content in your paper. That is the second thing. And the third thing would be, uh, the purpose of language is not merely get learning a new language or getting a job. It's not like that. The purpose of any language, particularly English language, is uh, to expose you different societal situations, different societal experiences, and different things that are happening around us. When we are reading the chapters, it would be better to think beyond the text instead of sticking to the text. There is a chapter, Madam Rides the Bus. It is all about a small child, 8-year-old girl, how she wants to explore the world independently. When we are reading the chapter Boli, we can think about uh, how the women are being suppressed, gender equality, and social justice. And we can think about all these things when we are reading the Nelson Mandela a Long Walk to Freedom. We can think about the themes of equality, justice, and freedom, and all these kind of themes when we are reading some chapters like Lencho, and we can think about the resilience, the faith, and the hope in God. And when we think about all these things, when we try to connect it with our own lives, it would be uh, it would be just like your experience, and you don't forget it. You don't forget it anymore. This is the problem that students are facing. When you are forgetting, the thing is, you are reading it, not cherishing the content. You are not experiencing the content. That's why you are not able to deliver it. That's why you are not able to present it in your paper. I think I'm making sense here. Just think in this way. Did you ever forget your first day of school experience? No, right? Uh, do you forget your first day of outing? Do you forget something really good thing you have experienced in your life? We never forget it, right? Because we made it as our experiences. Instead of it as a thing to remember, we made it as experience, and we connected to it, connected that things to our lives. They became our routine. It just automatized, and we don't forget it. This all these things, you know, they these things also applicable when it comes to the exam as well, right? And the fourth thing is a consolidate material. This is the most important thing that I want to tell. Most of the times we read the materials prepared by outside authors. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But what I would suggest is it would be better to be the author of your our own material. I will tell you how. When you read, I told you three things, right? Skimming, reading, and writing. It When you know that you are going to write the exam some months later, it would be better to keep a separate notes for yourself. Whatever you read, what you are writing it, right? You can write it in that book. You are compiling it, right? Every day, whatever the homework you do there. Whatever you are revising, you write there. And whatever you come across, whatever the inputs, whatever the feedbacks that teachers are giving, you are writing there. Once after a few days, once you look at that book, it's your material. You prepared it for yourself. It is tailored material. You know, it is prepared according to your needs, according to your language proficiency, according to the way you understand. It is your baby, right? Your notes is just like your baby. You prepared it with that confidence before going to the exam. If you, you know, go through that material, you feel like, okay, I have covered this, I have covered this, I read this. So you will get a confidence that uh, that's what changed our games, right? That's what changed the game of the exam. That's what I suggest. These four things, it would be really helpful to kickstart with. And the second thing is, when it comes to grammar and vocabulary, most of the students, they have some stereotypes. They feel like, okay, grammar is very hard to crack, and when it comes to math or trigonometry, is very hard to crack it up. But I would say, uh, when it comes to the board exam, do you think if it is very hard to crack, uh, someone gives you in the exam? If it is more than your level, do you think someone gives you just like that? No, right? That means it's not something, you know, something from the Mars or something from exotic, right? It is, uh, if we have the, if we are very meticulous, we can understand how to tackle this thing when it comes to grammar. First thing would be choose wisely. There are some grammar topics, for example, tenses, modals, subject verb agreement, direct and index speech, and determiners, and all. It would be better to choose the grammar topics which has more weightage in the exam, not only in that section, in the other sections as well. For example, I'll give you one example. There is one grammar topic, subject verb agreement, right? Subject verb agreement is basically, it gives you an idea how to write sentences. If you master this topic, you can write most part of your exam without many grammatical mistakes. That is one thing. And the second thing is there, models are there, right? When it comes to subject verb agreement, modals, and determiners, most of the questions are error correction. When you read the sentence, you can understand what is not going well here, right? And you can just write the error and you write the correction. So it would be better to choose wisely what is going to work well in the exam. That doesn't mean to leave the things beyond, leave the other things beyond. Uh, the second thing would deal with it. When you get a question in the exam, read the sentence and repeat it, and in your mind, just read it aloud and shout it in your mind. When you shout it, you'll get to know, okay, is it the way I speak to people? Is it the way this piece of sentence work? Is it the way to form a sentence? You, after practicing so many things, you feel like, okay, it is not how the things go, right? And it is how you can notice the error and correction, and you can come up with a good answers in the grammar. And third, and the most important thing when it comes to ace grammar or vocabulary is practice, practice, practice. Exposing ourselves to different kind of text, right? And when you are coming across a story or a novel or a textbook or any social media article, it would be better if you read it with your mental alertness instead of that cognitive slumber. Your eyes will work, but our brain, it doesn't take it up how the sentence are being formed here, right? It would be better to practice whatever is there in MTG. Believe me, they don't go beyond this thing, because CBSE knows the proficiency levels of 10th class. So don't feel like, okay, it is something from IELTS or TOEFL or something very beyond my proficiency levels. So stop looking it as a, you know, um, very elusive thing to crack. Okay, so that is one thing. This is how we acquire grammar very easily. And the other strategy for reading comprehension is, there are, I believe, our English, not only CBSE paper, take a state paper or IGCSE, International Baccalaureate, or IB syllabus, whatever the syllabus you take, what I feel is usually, even if an outsider write the paper, they can score 50 marks very easily. And here I'm talking about board exam. I'll tell you why. All the reading comprehension, grammar, and creative writing skills, they're very common. We can see in our daily lives. It's not something which happens in laboratories or somewhere outside of the world. We see this every day, right? Even if an outsider come and sit in the exam hall, he may lose the marks in literature part, right? That 40 marks, not 40 marks, 30 marks, he or she can answer in the extracts, right? Because answers are there itself. uh, the outsider can write it. When it is a reading comprehension, what that actually means is, the answers is literally there in front of your eyes. It is basically, what we have to do is, we should understand it. It is where your reading skill play a role. When the paper is given, I told you, right, skim through the paper. When the paper is given, read it properly. First time you don't understand it, that's what skimming is. Second time when you read it, it does make sense. Okay, in the beginning I didn't understand anything, now it does make sense. When you read it for the third time, when you understand what it is talking about, main idea, supporting details, what the theme of the uh, paragraph, you'll be like, okay, now I got to know this, what the paragraph is talking about. Then you go to the question, and you will be referring back to the paragraph. You read the question, going back to the paragraph, and you see some words in the question, right? And you see the same word in the uh, comprehension passage, and you will make a connection. Okay, maybe this question is talking about uh, this paragraph, right? So that is how we can ace reading comprehension. um, Time management is a vital thing, how we have to deal with it. And the second thing is, third thing is active reading. Please read the reading comprehension passages with mental alertness and common sense. I often say this to my students. English exam or any language exam is all about common sense. If we put our if we really put our mind there, we could see answers. They, they appear as if someone has highlighted it. That's what the beautiful thing about reading comprehension passage. Here you don't have to, work a lot here. uh, you don't have to do any pre-work. You go to the exam, you read it, but before going to the exam, solve as many reading comprehension passages as possible. Because it won't be like, uh, it would you should master that art of reading. Okay, these are the questions, these are the answers. Many students are there, they think this reading comprehension is just like a, analytical. They start writing that the content in the analytical paragraph. It's not the thing, right? So this is all about reading comprehension. And in the beginning, I told you, right, the content is important, what we write. Okay, and it is also important how we write presentation. Because most of the times, uh, it it goes a bit higher how we are presenting it. Because people are very used to, very used to come to a point that, okay, this person is this appearance, right? You're in the exam, not only a content, many things play a very good role. It is the presentation that we are talking about. Most of the students, they go to the exam, they don't plan it how to write the exam. You got very good opportunity, you got very good opportunity for, you can implement all these things in your pre-board exam, because you can do all the experiments here. And when you finally you get a feedback, and you go to the main exam and you implement what works well, and you reduce, or when you go to the main exam, you cut what is not going well in the exam. First thing is, plan and structure the paper and format, right? Most of the students, what they think is, okay, I'm going to the exam, I write the exam, I come back. To be honest, your paper is your communication medium. The person who is evaluating your paper is not only looking at your paper, okay, he is looking at you. She is looking at you, how you write, okay. We understand what kind of person are you, okay. So it would be better to, it really helps to take care of this presentation, right? And when you go there, prepare a good outline. When we see your paper, we should get an impression that, okay, this person is desperately want to be, ace the exam. We have to get that kind of impression by your paper, how you are writing. We want to see that kind of, that carefulness, mental alertness, that kind of uh, meticulous behavior in you. And when you go there, most of the students, they write the exam as it is. No, please come up with some good margins. It looks really good, it looks very decorative. And most of the students, in the hurry of finishing the exam, they don't give the numbering. Your teachers, they may, like, okay, he's my student, she's my student, it is the mistake, they may excuse you. But in the board exam, they don't know you, they don't have to consider your mistake, they just strike it off. You lose the marks, maybe. That is the point where, where you lose the exam altogether, right? It may give impression to the examiner, okay, this person is not at all serious with the exam. That there, you can lose the exam. So please be mindful when you are writing the exam. Everything matters. And show what you are through your paper. We can connect it with the first point. Show what you are through, okay, through your paper. Show what you are. You are a kind of, a studious a person, right? You can, it conveys your paper, you think the paper, he just corrected with his pen. No, I believe whenever I correct the paper, I feel like this paper is literally talking, this paper is shouting, sir, I'm like this kind of person, this is what I am, okay. Please take a call here. The way you write in the exam is how the exam writes your result. It is what we have to keep in mind, right? You may lose altogether when something goes wrong. Please do take care of how you are writing, whether you are underlining the keywords, whether you are, giving proper margins with the appropriate space, or giving good titles, good headings, and following the formats properly. Everything matters. Most of the students, in the exam, when it comes to letter writing format, what they do is, um, they mess it up. They know that, but here and there, they go, in the beginning itself, they start thanking you. this is these are the little things that we have to take care of. And to save your time, it would be better to follow some ready-made templates that is given by your teachers, okay. And you can save up your time, right? If you have the introductory paragraph, if you have the concluding paragraph, if you have the format ready, you don't have to worry a lot, to save your time. You have to just write the body part. You have to, you can literally put whatever the template is given to you. You can save up your time. And one thing that I really want to tell student is, please avoid that informal language. Whenever I sometimes when I correct the paper, students they have this habit. We are too used to uh, this social media language, this WhatsApp and Instagram language. People, one day I was correcting a paper, and it's a conversation between Buddha and a person. The question is like, okay, imagine you are a person from this and this. You went to Buddha and write a conversation between Buddha and you. It is the basic sense that how we start with a person like Buddha and some religious leader, uh, my lord or master. And here we are, I'm talking about the kind of language that we have to use, the formal language, not not very chatty, not very gaudy, or not very wordy, right? We go there, a student wrote like this: hey Buddha, how are you? I mean, please do avoid this kind of language. I wanna, I gonna, I gotta. Please avoid this kind of language. It doesn't work. It doesn't fetch you good marks in the exam, because if it feel like it gives the impression that it's a it's just very chatty, as if we don't feel like, we are correcting a paper. We feel like, okay, someone is literally chatting with us in the paper itself. So please avoid this kind of language, right? And the third thing is, when you finish the exam, proofread. Proofread very carefully, because this is the place. It is like, I'll tell you, sometimes you leave some questions uh, in the some sections. When you finish all the exam, if you don't go back, you don't know where you have left the question. And you think like, okay, I have finished the question, you submit the paper, you come back, and when you realize, okay, this is the question that I didn't answer, I wanted to go back, but I didn't do that. There you feel regret. Please don't do that. Once you finish the exam, finish it 10 minutes before, and go back and keenly, with that kind of mental alertness, and read everything once, and then give a proper punctuation, proper check the grammar, check the spelling. When you read the same content for different times, you feel like it is conveying different meanings, right? Maybe you come up with a really uh, good editing, right? So that is where your presentation skills matter. And I really want to tell you one thing here. And even the pen that you are using, please take care of it, because most of the students, out of their enthusiasm, what they do is they buy a very brand new stationery for the exam. But they start writing the things with that new pen or new stationery. Since they are not used to that new thing, everything messes up, right? So just decide and fix as some good material what you want to carry, and start using those materials, those text or those things with you, and make it as a routine with writing those things. So you won't feel like, okay, it is something new. The pen or your things, they don't give you trouble. Believe me, these little things, they irritate you a lot in the exam. They irritate you a lot. uh, so take care of these two things. I think we talked about content, right? And we talked about the presentation as well. And in the content, one point that I missed, sorry for this, I want you to take a note of it. When we are reading character sketches, right? It would be better if we make it as a mind map, instead of reading it as a paragraph, reading it as a something, a legal document. It would be better if we prepare material. Okay, what are the qualities of this person, right? It helps you. It is your ready made template, you keep it. Okay. And proper beginning and proper ending of the, what is it, uh, conversation, you keep it ready. Template, how to begin, how to end, keep it ready for you. Okay, you have the things ready. Now when the exam comes, when they ask, for example, they ask you to write a conversation between two people from different chapters, then you can, since your templates are ready, how to begin, how to end, You don't panic. Here, people usually they get scared, they get panic, they feel very frustrated in the exam, not because they don't know the content, they don't know how to, you know uh, how to put it up, how to put it up on the paper, how to connect both the things, right? To avoid that thing, if you have all the templates ready, it would help. You don't feel panic there. You go there with a peace of mind. You'll be like, because since everything is ready, everything is ready made, instead of you doing something there, right? You doing something there and making a mess. Since everything is prepared, what you do is you go there, your concentration would be on how to write the exam very carefully, instead of looking for answer, instead of stucking somewhere. your your focus would be on how to produce it more efficiently. That is what saves your time, and that is what fetch you really really good marks. And three things that I really really want to you to take a note of it. First thing is a cognitive slumber. Second thing is that kind of mental fog. Please do one thing: when you are revising, it would be better to discuss it with the people, okay? And to teach it, instead of you reading going on and on and on. It would be better, you when you are alone, to just to close your eyes, and you will be what you do, you will be like teaching it to your inner self. That really works in your exam. It consolidates people, it consolidates your learning. That is one thing, that is about content, and other thing is about presentation. And not only these two things, I just want to finish it as soon as possible. And there is other thing. uh, Here we are talking about stress. I told you in the beginning, stress is not always a bad thing, right? Because when the stress is there, a constructive stress, we feel like it keeps us on our toes. We feel like, okay, this is where I have to finish my things. This is where I have to be careful. This is where I have to be alert, right? This is what a good constructive stress do. And I want to end this with a parable. It really, what is lacking, what where we are lacking. Let me give you one a short anecdote or a parable. Once upon a time, there was an aristocrat. Aristocrat in the sense, he's very rich, and sadly, he did not have any children. And one day, he called his two of his loyal servants, and he started talking to them. My dear children, since I do not have any heirs, my children, I want to bestow my property to one of you, one of the person who really really deserves it. I just want to conduct a test. I just want to give you a task. Whoever finishes the task first, my all the property would be bestowed upon him. He said that, and the task is he showed two trees, okay, and he showed two trees, and he gave them two axes. Axis, I think you know what axis is, right? We use it for cutting trees. And those two people, they went to cut the tree. The first person started cutting. The time limit is 3 hours, and that person is cutting, going on and on. First 1 hour, it just passed. The second person went somewhere, he did not come there. Uh, so this first person, he started cutting. 2 hours are finished, but the second person still, he didn't show up, he went somewhere. The first person, he's like, where did this person go, what is he doing? And he's uh, kept on cutting it. In the third hour, that second person, he came to the scene, and he cut the tree, and he got all the asset. uh, the first person went to the second person and asked like this: okay, you came very late in the last half an hour, and you cut the tree. I've been cutting the tree from the past 3 hours. I couldn't do that. How could you do that? This second person, he told like this: man, I really really appreciate your struggle, but let me tell you this. You looked at the tree, that is your exam. Okay, you looked at your acts, that is your skills. But sadly you did not realize the axe, whether it is sharp or not. It is what the important thing. We try to fill our brain with lot of content, instead of whether our brain is working or not working properly in a right direction or not, right? Here we have to take care of our mental health, because our mind is the thing which is playing a role, right? So the stress arises when when you are filling your brain with lot of things. People, let me give you a quote here, a punchline here. Your brain is not at all a dustbin to fill it up with unnecessary garbage, right? You have exam very near. It is the time where you don't have to think about anything. Please declutter your mental things, at the same time your physical things as well, right? And try to detox yourself from what you are going through. It's not like, what's the point in, many people are overwhelmed with that kind of negative thoughts. Many students, they come to me, they say, sir, what if I fail? I would say, what's the point in worrying? What's the point in crying? What's the point in crying for light just by closing our eyes, right? What's the point in crying? What's the point in stinging ourselves with the thorn of our negative thoughts just by lying on the bed of roses? This is what we are doing. Take care of your brain, please protect it. Okay, don't fill it up, try to sharp it. This is how we balance the things, right? You have people there, people around, please talk to them, and divide the things, balance the things, do some recreational activities, and let the purpose guides you. Okay, if there is an exam, there is a syllabus. We are not asking something from Mars, how the things has gone, right? Whatever is there in the syllabus, that is coming to you. Please do not exaggerate the exam, it scares you. Second thing is, please do not how to say that, look down the exam. Okay, this is just both the approaches are really not good for our academic health. Give as much as importance that it deserves. Okay, that is where the subtle art of not giving a sniff about this kind of negative things play a role there. And the thing is, uh, good inputs gives best outputs, right? I would say this, I'm not saying best inputs give best outputs. I would say like this: when when you are taking input, when you are when your intake is good, in terms of your what you are consuming, right? Your food, what you are the content that you are consuming, the people that you are with, and the thing that is going in your mind, if that is good, you know good books, good food, good inputs, good friends, good environment, it gives best outputs, right? Because that gap is, I gave you a short iPhone is there, right? That is where brain plays a role. It analyzes, it intensifies our good inputs, and it come up with but best outputs. This is all about choosing a middle path to tackle the exam. Not not thinking exam is the life and death matter. At the same time, not be like, okay, this is the just exam, what I have written so many exams, what's the point? Both the approaches are really really bad, people. I'm telling this, if you can if you can give a really good approach, or that kind of middle path, we come out of it flying colors. And I really want to tell this to students, my dear students. You may think, you may feel like at this point, what is happening in your life, what is the marks that I'm getting, what are these pre boards, what is this revision, what is this work, and you may not know where you are going. But let me tell you this very happily: we teachers, we do know where we are taking you to. So you don't have to worry a lot. Go through the process. Stress is a part of your journey, fear is a part of your journey. uh, all the things are The clutter is a part of your journey. I just want to end it up like this. uh, Basically, you are going through the process, crushing process. Scent intensifies its odor when it is crushed. Now if you feel like you are getting crushed, be very happy that you are going to spread your fragrance uh, just by your results. I hope I made myself clear. Please celebrate your progress, stay motivated, and we are manifesting a great together as a man, as a school, teachers. We are manifesting a great success ahead. I hope I made myself clear. So, yes, this is all I want to talk about. I hope I made myself clear.
Thank you so
Shudha,
much,
I
Anand
think
sir.
you can please.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anand sir, for your insightful guidance. We have some interesting questions in the Q&A section. The first one is from a student. How should students allocate their time during preparation for different sections like reading, comprehension, writing, and literature? Sir? Sir? Sir, is my question audible to you?
Please repeat the question one more time, Shraddha.
Um, the first question is from a student. How should students allocate their time during preparation for different sections like reading, comprehension, and literature?
Yes, can I do it now? Yeah. Shraddha, I would like to take this question. You're talking about time allocation for different sections when they are going to write board exam. So I think for reading comprehension, as 20 minutes time is given to all the students before they start exam. So I believe that there are two passages, and each passage should not take more than 15 minutes to complete in the exam. So in total, it should be 30 minutes that they have to devote for reading comprehension passages. And then when it comes to writing skills and grammar, there are only two writing skills questions that they need to attempt and 10 grammar questions. So in total, they can take their 40 minutes. Then they have good amount of 1 hour of time that they have to put for literature part because it's the lengthiest part in the paper. And after that they'll be left with extra timing. If they take somewhere extra 5 minutes in their hand, there will be at least 20 minutes time to proofread their paper, what they have written so far. Is there any point that they have missed it? So in that way, if they follow this time allocation strategy, they'll be able to complete the paper in a beautiful manner. They'll be able to draw the margin, they'll be able to check it, correct their mistake in case any. Thank you, Shraddha.
Thank you, ma'am. The second question is, how can presentations help in writing?
When it comes to presentation, so when you are writing in board exam, if you write in a very cluttery way, when things are not clear, your paper is messy, it's very difficult to proofread it later. So when you present it well, it also helps you to check your paper, proofread it, and from thinking from the evaluator's perspective, you get some extra marks for that. It is an added advantage. So that's how presentation skills helps you in writing neatly, organize your ideas, structure it properly. It gives you confidence also as you keep on, answering each question in a very well presented manner.
And to add something to it, when an evaluator look at your paper, he shouldn't feel like, okay, uh, this person is not interested in writing exam. The way we are writing, it talks. I told you, right? It talks about ourselves a lot. So let's not give that kind of impression. Let's make uh, that evaluator think, okay, this person really worked hard and he's praising it and he's showing, let's show our hard work through our words, how we write. I think it is the thing. I gave the what is it, that analogy also, right? The glass, the dirty glass and the water and all.
Yes, sir. The next question is, how can we help children overcome fear of grammar and vocabulary questions?
Okay. When it comes to grammar, I would say vocabulary, I would say most of the students, they are finding it difficult when the synonyms comes in out of, what is it, uh, poems, right? Extract based questions. I would suggest go through the poems. Next to the poems there is glossary, right? When you read the poems, when you find a word or a phrase is new, why don't you check the meaning of it? Why don't you check the synonym of it? If you go through all these synonyms, first thing is you can write, you don't miss any synonym or any vocabulary word. And the second thing is you are getting rich vocabulary. You can, you can carry it forward for writing the rest of the paper as well. And grammar is, I would say, of course, grammar, let's be very honest, it's not, how to say that, very hard, I would say. Okay. At the same time, it is not like A for apple, B for boy, C for cat, right? And it comes through the practice only, Shraddha. Let me be very honest. Because I told you, right, when we are practicing number of worksheets that are given or in the material, I was talking about the, how to say that, I was talking about the subconscious brain, right? Since we practice very honestly, I'm really talking about honesty here. Most of the students, what they do is they look at the grammar topics and they leave it, and then they feel like crying. And they, they don't like, okay, let's give a try, let's solve this. Instead of doing that, they come to teachers, sir, grammar is very hard. Don't do that. Okay. Instead of, crying upon teacher's shoulder, someone's shoulder, first explore it yourself, right? Just start solving. Motion creates momentum, right? When we, first day you may not crack it, second day you will be, you will be getting the nuances of how to solve grammar. And since you come across so many worksheets and that grammar exercises, right? When you go to the exam, you may feel like, okay, I'm not perfect in grammar. But when you go to the exam, since you have practiced very honestly, when you see that MCQs or error corrections, your subconscious brain is the right, it recommends you the correct answer. Okay, this is the answer, this is the answer. So that is how we crack it up. And grammar, every day it would be better to brush up on grammar, right? Instead of, reading this for exam, practice it. Don't read grammar, practice it. Write the sentences on your own, right? And write a paragraph out of it. It helps.
Thank you all for being such an attentive and engaging audience. We hope you found today's session inspiring and filled with actionable insights. A big thank you to our speaker, Mr. Anand Babu, for sharing his expertise and helping us take the stress out of learning English.
Can I take a second here? Sorry, people, for not minding the time. I'm really, really sorry for this because I was going on and on, on and on. Thanks a lot for being here.
Yes, sir. Stay tuned for more such enriching webinars, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, poise over panic. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye and take care. All the questions which were there in the Q&A section have been answered personally. Please check the Q&A